Well, hello there, grade 7 learners. It's me, Teacher Gelo, your secret agent English teacher. Do you want to join me on an awesome adventure and become a secret agent too? Well, alright. But before that, you must scan your hands first for security purposes. Don't forget to log in, and after that, we're now ready to go. Are you guys ready? What are we waiting for? Let's go and study. So for you to become an official member of this alliance, first, you must pass your first mission. It will serve as a proof that you are trustworthy. Let's think of your first mission. But don't worry, I am here to help you. Aha! I've got an idea for your first mission. Let's study about the difference between active and passive voice. Is that okay with you? Great! Later, I will elaborate more on the differences between the active and passive voice. Wait! I almost forgot. During our mission, there will also be simple tasks that you need to accomplish. After you finish each task, I will give you a golden magnifying glass as a reward. Are you guys ready? What are we waiting for? Let's go and study. But before we start our lesson, I want you to look at these sentences. I will give you 5 minutes to read and analyze the sentences, and after that, try to answer the question about the given sentences. Is that okay with you? Great!
What have you noticed with the underlined and encircled words in the sentences? Number 1. Anna baked cupcakes for her friends. Number 2. The Starry Night was painted by Vincent van Gogh. Number 3. Rhylee will study his lessons later. Number 4. The play was narrated by Yumi. And number 5. Lenard fixed the machine yesterday.
So what have you noticed with the underlined and encircled words in the given sentences? Anyone? Correct! The underlined words in the given sentences are verbs or action words. How about the encircled words? Very good. The encircled words are all nouns or subjects of the sentences. I like how observant you are when it comes to subject and verb of the sentences. Now, let me first discuss the objectives for your mission.
Objectives for this mission. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to: Number 1. Differentiate active from passive voice. Number 2. Identify the voice of the verb in a sentence. And number 3. Rewrite sentences from active to passive voice and vice versa.
Now, do you have any idea about the differences between active and passive voice? That's right. In active voice, the subject of the sentence is doing the action, while in passive voice, the action is done on or upon the subject. Any more ideas? Awesome! In active voice, the meaning is more clear and direct, while in the passive voice, meaning can be confusing and indirect. Great job, future secret agents! All your ideas about the two are correct. But before we tackle about the differences between the two, let us first define what is the voice of the sentence.
So what is voice? In grammar, the voice of the verb shows whether the subject of a sentence is the doer of the action or receiving the action. In other words, the verb helps us to indicate whether the subject performs an action or whether the subject receives the action.
Always remember, if the subject performs the action, the form of the sentence is in the active voice. Take a look at this example.
In this example, the kid ate the candy. The kid serves as the subject of the sentence. Ate serves as the verb, while candy is the object of the sentence. So here, the doer of the action is the subject, which is the kid, and the verb ate is in the active voice. That's why if I ask you the question, who ate the candy, the answer would be the kid, since the kid is the one who performs the action of the verb.
Again, what is the role of the subject in the active voice? Very good. The subject is the doer of the action. Let's now move on with the passive voice.
In this example, the candy was eaten by the kid. The candy serves as the subject of the sentence. Was eaten serves as the verb, while kid is the object of the sentence. Here, the action is done to the subject and the verb was eaten is in the passive voice. That's why if I ask you the question, what did the kid eat? The answer would be the candy, because the candy is the receiver of the action that the kid performed in the sentence.
Again, what is the role of the subject in the passive voice? Very good. The subject is the receiver of the action. Generally, we use active voice whenever we can. It can be used in topic sentences and opening sentences for paragraphs, which makes the writing clearer and easier to read. On the other hand, passive voice is often used in formal text.
Here are the different use of passive voice. Number 1, we use passive voice to give importance to an active object. Just like what is in the example, Born This Way was sung by Lady Gaga. We used the passive voice of the sentence instead of the active voice because we wanted to emphasize the person who sang the song. Number 2, we also use passive voice if the active subject was unknown. For example, the robber was arrested. We don't know who performs the action word arrested in the sentence, so instead of active voice, we use the passive voice form. Number 3, we also use passive voice when we choose not to name the one who performs the action. Just like in the given example, the work was done poorly. The performer or the doer of the action was not included because we choose not to name it.
One important note: if we want to say who or what performs the action while using the passive voice, we always use the preposition by to indicate who or what performs the action. Take a look at this example.
The presentation was prepared by Group 3. In this example, we use the preposition by to say who is the performer of the action.
Now, let's move on to the next part of our discussion. Are you guys ready? What are we waiting for? Let's go and study. In changing the sentence from active to passive voice, we make the object of the active sentence the subject of the passive voice sentence. So, to change a sentence from an active voice to passive voice, we must do the following steps.
Step 1. Move the active sentence's direct object into the sentence's subject slot. In our sentence, our direct object was the letter, so we will place it into the sentence's subject slot, which is at the beginning of the sentence. Step 2. Place the active sentence's subject into a phrase beginning with the preposition by. So in here, our subject is Marilyn, so we will place it into the sentence's object slot with the preposition by. Step 3. Add a form of auxiliary verb be to the main verb and change the main verb's form as required. Now, since our main verb was mailed, we will just place it between the sentence's subject and object slot, plus the auxiliary verb be. Take note, only verbs that take on an object can be changed to passive. For example, he runs away. In this sentence, there is no object, so it's not possible to turn it into a passive sentence.
Now, to change a passive voice sentence into an active voice sentence, simply reverse the steps shown in changing active voice to passive voice.
Step 1. Move the passive sentence's subject into the active sentence's direct object slot. Since our subject here is the letter, we will just put it into the active sentence's direct object slot, which is at the end part of the sentence. Step 2. Remove the auxiliary verb be from the main verb and change the main verb's form if needed. So here, our main verb was mailed, so we will just put it before the sentence's direct object slot. Step 3. Place the passive sentence's object of the preposition into the subject slot. Now, since our object of the preposition was Marilyn, we will just put it into the active sentence's subject slot.
And that's all for the steps in changing sentences from active to passive voice and vice versa. Easy peasy, right? Again, what is the main difference between active and passive voice? Great! In active voice, the subject is the doer of the action, while in the passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. As I promised, here is your first reward. Now that you've understood the difference between the active and passive voice, let us go back to the previous example earlier. Get your notebooks and pen ready because this will be an awesome and fun task only made just for you. I want you to identify whether the given sentences are in the active or passive voice. I will give you a minute to answer each sentence. Are you guys ready? What are we waiting for? Just let's go and study.
Sentence number 1. Anna baked cupcakes for her friends. Is it in the active or passive voice? Correct. It is in the active voice. Sentence number 2. The Starry Night was painted by Vincent van Gogh. Is it in the active or passive voice? You got it right. It is in the passive voice. Sentence number 3. Rhylee will study his lessons later. Is it in the active or passive voice? Great! It is in the active voice. Sentence number 4. The play was narrated by Yumi. Is it in the active or passive voice? Awesome! It is in the passive voice. Sentence number 5. Lenard fixed the machine yesterday. Is it in the active or passive voice? That's right. It is in the active voice.
Great job, future secret agents! As I promised, here is your second reward. Keep on collecting it because at the end of this mission, if you got all the golden magnifying glasses, then you succeed on your first mission. Are you now guys ready for another extra task? What are we waiting for? Just let's go and study. Identify whether the given sentences are in an active or passive voice. I will give you a minute to analyze each sentence.
Sentence number 1. Anna painted the house. Is it in the active or passive voice? Correct. It is in the active voice. What do you think is its passive voice form? Awesome! The house was painted by Anna. Sentence number 2. The students' questions are answered by the teacher. Is it in the active or passive voice? Correct. It is in the passive voice. What do you think is its active voice form? Great job! The teacher always answers the student's question. Sentence number 3. Ali posted the video online. Is it in the active or passive voice? Correct! It is in the active voice. What do you think is its passive voice form? That's right. The video was posted online by Ali.
Well done, future secret agents! I am impressed with your ability to identify the differences between active and passive voice. With that, here's another golden magnifying glass just for you. Now, are you guys ready for your extra final task? What are we waiting for? Let's go and study. For your final task, make sure that you have your notebooks and pen with you.
Since you already mastered the difference between the active and passive voice, try to make your own examples using the form of these two voices. I will give you 2 minutes to formulate your examples, and if possible, try to comment them in the comment box below.
I assume that you are all through with your extra final task. Because of that, I am here now to give you your last magnifying glass. You are now an official new member of this alliance. Well done, secret agents! Again, I am your teacher Gelo, your secret agent English teacher. Till next time for another fun and exciting mission. Mission accomplished.
Assignment of the day. Copy these example sentences of active voice. After that, try to change it into its passive voice.